Framingham's budget season is in full swing as allocations for the municipal government, the public school district, and more are discussed by local leaders. State officials provide an update on the effort to clean up the contaminated General Chemical site, and our coverage of I Believe Academy's recent fundraiser on the hardwood and the annual Taste of MetroWest event at the Framingham Sheraton. I'm Brendan Fitzpatrick, and this is The Frame, Framingham News in Focus. Hello and welcome to The Frame, an initiative of Access Framingham. We start with the latest developments in the middle of budget season, as Mayor Charlie Sisitsky has unveiled his municipal budget proposal for the 2026 fiscal year. The bottom line, the plan that he submitted to the City Council on Tuesday, April 29th, comes out to about $383.2 million. If adopted, that budget would be going up by about $24 million from last year's figure. Most of the budget would be covered by just over $230 million raised through the 2.5% tax levy increase, along with $108 million in state aid. A major chunk of the FY26 budget in Framingham, of course, will be for education, as school officials are still working to agree on a budget number with the mayor's administration. Framingham education leaders had initially proposed a $186.6 million budget for the public school district last month, but Sisitsky's recent submission accounts for about just over $183 million for schools, thus resulting in a gap. Additional budget reductions were considered during the Framingham School Committee's meeting on Tuesday. Officials like School Superintendent Dr. Robert Tremblay explained that they want to reduce the impact on positions that deal with students directly, but added that services would be impacted by any cut to the budget.
We are not saying that this is what we like to do. We're saying we have to close the gap, and this is our best effort to close the gap. No program elimination or program reduction is going to be satisfactory to anybody.
The school committee voted to cut funding for a variety of expense line items, though they'll continue to mull whether or not to reduce money for things like coaching positions in multiple educational disciplines and technological hardware. District 4 school committee member Adam Freudberg told his colleagues to continue to work with the mayor and other local officials in order to find common ground during this process.
This budget is harmful right now where it stands, and I wouldn't want us to rush tonight to make decisions when we don't need to make decisions yet. The budget's typically not done until mid-June.
Sisitsky's $383.2 million budget has been referred to the City Council's Finance Subcommittee for consideration. In the meantime, FPS leaders are expected to continue conversations with elected officials as the budget development process in Framingham rolls on. The City Council did vote to finalize one monetary matter during their meeting this week, as the body gave their full approval to the final slate of projects that have been recommended to benefit from Community Preservation Act funding. 7 total projects totaling nearly $1.75 million were recommended by the Community Preservation Committee to the Council for consideration. Those projects aim to address community housing needs, preserve historic sites, and expand outdoor recreational spaces. Recipients of the money include JFS of MetroWest for their rental subsidies program, Cushing Memorial Park for the addition of a splash pad, and the Framingham History Center for renovations at the Edgell Memorial Library in the old Academy building. A reminder that you can read more about the top stories we cover every week on the show by visiting our website, www.theframe.news. There you can find additional stories that matter to your community, full feature pieces we've completed across the city, and a calendar filled with upcoming events. Tell your friends about the latest source for local information and subscribe to our email newsletter to ensure that you're always up to date with Framingham News in Focus. The Massachusetts Department of Environmental Protection has provided an update on the plan to clean up the former General Chemical site along Leland Street in Framingham. Following decades of use from the 1920s through 2012, primarily as a petroleum storage site and for General Chemicals operations, the property has been seeped with harmful contaminants, some of which have been identified as carcinogens. These discoveries in recent years have resulted in the site and nearby homes being totally abandoned. Back in the fall, testing was carried out by the state to determine the extent of contamination within the footprint of General Chemical's former warehouse on the property, which had previously been demolished. Now, Mass DEP expects that the plan to clean up the contamination will be put out to bid by the end of May. State officials expect that the cleanup work will begin in either the late spring or the early summer in 2026. A few notes for you now ahead of the weekend. Framingham officials are advising that multiple spots on the local planning board are open for application. The body is responsible for overseeing growth and development within the city, as seats on the board through the end of June of 2027 as well as June of 28 are available. This Sunday night, May 4th, is the deadline to apply. A resume and a cover letter is required for consideration. Also, last week's previously scheduled Earth Day Fest has been shifted to this Saturday, May 3rd, due to the bad weather over this past weekend. From 10 a.m. to 2 p.m., residents are invited to the Center Common to learn more about eco-friendly practices and initiatives from their neighbors, along with local businesses and organizations. The MWRTA will be providing free shuttle services between the downtown area and the Center Common, while planners are encouraging guests to either walk or ride their bikes to the event. And finally now, a preview of this week's frame-by-frame pieces. Our team was busy over the past few days as we were able to cover a pair of exciting local happenings. Framingham's police and fire departments took part in I Believe Academy's fundraiser on the basketball court this past Saturday, April 27th. Meanwhile, the annual Taste of MetroWest event was hosted by the MetroWest Chamber of Commerce at the Framingham Sheraton on Monday the 28th. We were in attendance for both events as we spoke with planners and attendees. Let's take a look at some of our coverage.
Basketball is a tool, but we want them to be exposed to a lot more than just basketball. We want them to understand that they using basketball as a stepping stone to further their education, further their careers in whatever occupation they want to go forward with.
It brings me a lot of joy to know that we have a community that shows up for their restaurants, and we have restaurants who shows up for their community.
Shop local, eat local. Find your local restaurants, find your local coffee shops, your local breweries. Go support them.
You can find more of our frame-by-frame coverage on our website, theframe.news, along with access Framingham's YouTube channel. Hit the bell icon there to be notified whenever we upload new content. Additional coverage from those events, including first-hand food reviews from our staff at Taste of MetroWest, can be found on our other social media feeds. You can find us on Instagram at FrameNews_, and you can also search for The Frame on Facebook. In addition to AFTV's YouTube channel, we post full episodes of The Frame on Spotify. You can listen to or watch the program there. That's all for this week's Framingham News in Focus. For everyone here at The Frame, thanks for watching or for listening. My name is Brendan Fitzpatrick. We'll talk to you next week. Take care.